Hello everybody, welcome to EU4. I'm Paradox Gamer playing, and I just want to make this video to show you that I got the One Faith achievement, EU4 achievement done. There is a new patch out for EU4 which makes this achievement especially harder, so I decided to give it a go and try and get this achievement. In my former videos, I tried as Catholic Ottomans and failed miserably. So this time I went Sunni, and as you can see, the whole world is Sunni. This is October 24, 1820, so a mere 2 months before the end of the game. So it was quite close, but you know, we made it. Just want to go through some pointers here. Yeah, let's just take it from one end. I started as the Ottomans here as Sunni, and decided to leave some of the other Sunni nations alive. Now this is of course troublesome if some of those nations have non-Sunni provinces, which actually happened one time with Transoxiana, which was my ally for most of the game. That's why they're still so big and strong. They had one province here, Herat, which was Ibadi, and they absolutely refused to convert it. They converted everything else, Hindu provinces and other stuff, but this one Ibadi province they didn't. So I had to break the alliance later in the game, claim up this province, and then threaten war in order to grab it, and they didn't want to fight my million-man army, so they gave me the province. This is some of the stuff you can do late game when everything is under control. You can grab those few provinces that you need from other Sunni nations. And I just converted that, so that was not a problem. We could just go through the remaining countries in the world. I did not go for the VC. I already have the VC achievement, so just to get a little less pain, I decided to leave some of them behind. Transoxiana is one of them. Yarkand is still alive. Arakan down here. Mogadishu, Kilva, Kanem-Bornu, Tlemcen, and Tunis. So they are, and Benin as well. So they're all Sunni, and there's absolutely no reason for me to take them. Most of them were allies throughout the campaign. Later on, I ditched the allies one by one as I needed my diplomatic relations for vassals. I got well, this vassal here is from an event, so yeah, that's an event that fires late in the game, so that doesn't really count. But other than that, I have the 3 big vassals here in Europe, which I used to core and convert all of this heavy area that you see right there. So this is essential for a One Faith, that you can have these vassals in Europe to do the heavy lifting for you, because the areas here are usually higher developed, and it just takes more time to convert them. Now these vassals were quite late in the game. I would say they started around late 1600. 1680s or something like that. I'm not sure exactly when I made these, but at some point or the other you need them to start converting Europe for you. So the plan was to go for colonizers early. I did not go for Russia early, so that just becomes a bit of a pain later in the game, because all of this Siberian stuff would be Orthodox. And you know, every Orthodox province requires one missionary, so that is also a tactic I believe I used that in the Catholic run to stop the Russians from expanding into Siberia. But it's much more important that you get the colonizers. So I started, as you can probably see, I never got through Tunis and Algeria. I just jumped through southern Italy, Sicily, to Sardinia, the Balears, and then on to southern Spain. And from there I just methodically moved up, taking out Portugal as the first one, which gave me the Caribbean CN and the Rio de la Plata CN down here. Those were my first two CNs. Quite early actually I got those. Then I continued to take out Castile. So the next CNs I got was Castilian Brazil and Florida, those two from Spain. And then I moved up into France, from which I got what did I get from France? French Colombia and French Canada, which is quite small CN up here. I got those two. And then I created Ottoman Peru myself. I created Ottoman Mexico and Ottoman Louisiana myself. Oh, and I also got California from Spain. And then finally I moved on to the British Isles, taking out Great Britain, which gave me Newfoundland. So that was the last one I got. And as you can see in the Pacific, there's a lot of uncolonized Pacific islands. And that means less provinces to convert. So if you can stop the colonizers like I did here, you're doing yourself a favor. The only islands that were taken out here were from Ming. Ming started to colonize late game, putting some stuff in Australia that I had to grab, and also some of the Pacific Islands and in Indonesia as well. So that was annoying. Otherwise, if Ming hadn't done that, I wouldn't have any property here in the Pacific at all. Just in case you don't know, if you fully annex a colonizer, you get all the colonial nations for free. So the way you want to do it is you want to make sure that you grab some stuff and leave a coastal province alive, like Lisbon, for example, in the case of Portugal. Because if you leave them inland, there's a chance the CNs will revolt and go against the former overlord. You don't want to do that. Then you want to make sure that you take all like African possessions and islands and stuff like that, is all the stuff that is not in America. Just leave the stuff in America alone. You don't need to take it. All the African stuff and European stuff, and then finally in the last war you fully annex the colonizer, and whoopty, you get all the CNs for free. And you do that with Portugal, Spain, France, Great Britain, and I also did with Netherlands. They had a few provinces also colonized. So that's the way to get all of this for free, and the colonies will convert themselves, all the stuff. It requires you to forcefully convert them, but I think it will wear off pretty quickly. Let's see, Rio de Plata was the first one I forcefully converted. If we just take a look at them, Rio de Plata here. Yeah, see the modifier is not even on there anymore. And then we can see the last one I took was Newfoundland. Let's see here. Enforced religion plus 17.3. It starts at 100 and then slowly ticks down. So you can see that's almost gone. So as early as possible, get those colonizers out of the game. And then I just pushed into Russia and into India and finally into Ming and Japan here at the end of the game. I did the last one here in Japan around April 1820, And then I found out that there was one province, Shia province in Brazil, somewhere over here. This one actually. You can see religious seal, November 1850. I just got this one. But fortunately, when it's your own CN, you can send a missionary there, so that is not a huge problem. Just convert it yourself. Okay. Let's just go through some of the stuff here. So if you want to do a one faith, you want to maximize your missionary strength. And one of the things you absolutely must have is the Unify Islam modifier. If we can just get that up here. Yeah, actually I ended up in a regency. So that was a bit nerve-wracking. Obviously you want to have your Inquisitor on at all times. Yeah, I only got a +1 because he was not accepted culture, so you just want to have a missionary strength modifier there at all times. And then if you can get a higher plus, you get that, but if not, too bad, you want this guy on all times. So let's see here. There you go. A United Islam, stability cost -20, missionary strength +2, and then the tolerance as well. That is really, really important to get. And you can almost see by the map the provinces needed. You can see like I kind of snatched them. This is Samarkand. You need Samarkand. You can see like I pulled in here and snatched Samarkand from Transoxiana. You need Tata, which is down here. You need Muscat and Aden down here, and Dagestan up here, and then you need this one, Ifni and Cordoba over here. So you can kind of see how I got that as soon as possible for the extra missionary strength. You can also see here crush local power, so that is the court and country. About mid-game you have to stop and do the court and country event, or what you want to call it, so that you can get your absolutism above 100 as soon as possible. That is imperative in any VC game, of course. We can just go through the stuff here. Yeah, the economy is very high when you own most of the world, obviously. I got all the institutions and all the technologies as well. Now this one's interesting. I need to say a few words about that. This is not a typical VC pick, and I realize I could probably have done better. Let me just explain a little bit. What I wanted to do is get a lot of military power early on so that I could explode early in order to get the Unify Islam modifier. And for that I wanted the offensive ideas. Especially the siege ability is handy, but of course also the discipline. You actually don't need this if you just want to go pure numbers on your enemies. You can go without the offensive ideas. Religious are wanted early as well, to start converting as early as possible. That's still a good choice. But the normal VC picks like influence, admin, and diplo I got rather late. You should probably start with these because of the diplomatic annexation cost -25%. The war score province cost -20%, and of course the core creation cost -25%. Those three are key for a VC. You should get them early, but I went with offensive and quantity. Yeah, I don't know. In a second run I would probably prioritize the others and then just go with the losses. You can take loans and stuff like that. So the exploration you don't need either. because when you get your CNs, you'll get them no matter if you have vision or not. But there is one thing though: if you don't have vision on your CNs, you have a bit of a problem, because when you force convert them, rebels will spawn, and those will be religious rebels, and they will convert stuff back, and if you're not careful, they can flip your CN back to Catholic. So in order to prevent that, I took exploration, explored everything, and had control over my CNs by putting armies over there that could crush those uprisings, and the CNs are not able to put down those uprisings themselves. So if you want to pick exploration ideas, it's a question of when. I already mentioned offensive quantity, and I went defensive with the last one. So this is not optimal, nor for a VC and nor for a one faith. Now the problem with these picks is the lack of policies. I have this one from offensive, no, from let me see, diplomatic and religious. So you can see how late I got this. I got diplomatic around, I don't know, 1700, maybe later even, and that's when I got the policy. You can also get missionary strength by picking religious and espionage, religious and trade, and religious and aristocratic. So that's a possible plus for missionary strength you can get there. But I mean, these idea groups, espionage, trade, and aristocratic, are pretty bad in a VC. So yeah, you can do it without them. So I don't think you should go for those, to be honest. There's also religious and offensive, which gives you the missionary strength versus heretics. But that's only against Shia and Ibadi provinces, and that there are not a lot of those. So this one is actually not that important either. Right, those were the idea groups. I have all the missions. The policies we've already talked about. I also had some extra morale from field priests. Nothing to see here. The thing about religion in Sunni is that you will almost always be in legalism, because when you convert a non-Muslim country, you will move towards legalism, and you are constantly converting non-Muslim countries, so you will probably never be in mysticism at all. That does give plus 3% missionary strength, but you never use these plus 3 at all. Of course, you want to be defender of the faith for the extra missionary. If we go through the missionary strength here, we can see the base value, the policy, the United Islam, positive stability is very important, and then of course now I'm in a regency. But if I'm not in a regency, I will also get enforced religious unity if my ruler has admin skill of at least 3. And Islamic Center of Scholarly Learning if my Diplo skill is at least 5. So those modifiers will come and go through the game. Nothing to see here. These are all my subjects. You can see my 3 CNs are disloyal, Silesia 94, Nassau 81, and Cologne 73, and that's purely because of their size. From 700 development, from 1225 development, and from 611 development. When your vassals get so big, they will be disloyal. It doesn't matter. You don't want them to fight for you, you just want them to convert. And that's what they do, no matter if they're disloyal or not. Okay, so just finally we'll take a look at the ledger here to verify that all countries are Sunni. go down and see. I think this is bugged. It doesn't really show the provinces, but we can see there are only Sunni nations. Right, so that was one faith for you. Finally done, and now I will get the new DLC and see what that has to offer. But as far as I know, it makes one faith a lot harder, because you can only convert in stated provinces, and that means you have to state and destate quite a lot. There's a lot of micromanagement involved with that. Of course, it means you can do the let's see, what's it called, the Enforced Religious Unity Edict. So it makes some kind of sense that you have an area that you state up, and then choose this edict, then convert it, and then destate it again. It's gonna be a lot of micro, and it's gonna cost a lot of admin points. So we'll have to play around with that a little bit to see if it works and how it works best. So in any case, thank you guys for watching. This is Paradox Gamer playing One Faith in EU4, and I'll see you around sometimes later. Take care. Bye bye.